What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you my anime review of Episode 2 of Joker Game. Now, before I even get into that, I just want to say, hopefully all of you are having a very good day or night wherever you live. And I just want to say that this episode blew my expectations out of the fucking water. Way out of the water. Like, way better than the first episode. Now, I'm going to say this. I know there's probably going to be some that's going to walk into this episode, and they're probably going to say it felt rather boring, or slow, or dull. And let me explain why I think some might say that. For one, it's probably because we had a pretty damn long flashback. Like, the flashback we had at the beginning of the episode, I have to admit, it was pretty fucking long, especially for an episode 2. But besides that, the episode was very solid. A very solid episode besides that stuff. Now, what is this episode about? Like, what really goes down? Well, for one, we get a lot of character development for our MC, Sakuma. And I was completely shocked when I saw how much he developed in one episode. Because, look, last week, he was calling spies cowards and all that. And then this week, he changes his entire outlook. And he has this development to where he realizes what's really going on. And he thinks outside of the box, which is Japan. And I was just completely surprised with how Joker Game delivered this character development for Sakuma, and it made him, personally, one of my favorite characters from this anime season. Not even joking, I just loved his development and the way he changed from this episode, from the last episode, and yeah. So, what exactly changed him? Like, what really happened? Like, because some might not understand. It took me a moment to realize what overall this episode meant. Mainly society as a whole in Japan, in this era going on right now. Like, let's look at it as if that was real life, what's going on right now, and this is, you know, the time and age we're living in. Society in Japan at that time in the series, it is in a state to where it would not ever look at or dream of any imperial posters or, you know, pictures to be misused, or, you know, have something that has spy evidence or shit in it, like something that's, you know, getting, you know, country secrets out. You know, soldiers or anyone wouldn't dare to look at stuff like that, move it, touch it, and all that, because it's like belief, like religion, pretty much. It's like, you know, how you don't do certain things in other religions? That's kind of how it is in Japan in this era. You don't touch stuff like that, you don't mess with it, because it's like their beliefs, and it's sacred. And because of this, you have to love how Sakuma fought outside of the box, because he was remembering a conversation he had last week, that sometimes you could believe something to where you could worship a fish or a sardine head, and he believed that, like, he was starting to realize, what was going on here. He's like, holy shit, this dude most likely has hidden all his shit behind an imperial picture, because no soldier, since they were already here to begin with, would not check that. And since there were soldiers already there to begin with, like a couple days ago, it made it to where they checked every place, but they didn't check that one place. They would never think to check that place. And normally, Sakuma would not think to check that place, but if it wasn't for his conversation he had last week, he probably would not have thought of it, and he would have committed suicide. So, very good development on that note. Now, besides that, let's actually look at what this episode was trying to make us, as the anime viewer, perceive. For one, society in Japan right now is kind of like the soldier. That's exactly what's going on. Society is the soldier, they're playing the poker game. And the spies, they are the Joker game. For instance, they see the world how it is. And the poker game players do not see the world or the true picture of what is going on in this day and age. For instance, how people manipulate each other, or how, you know, soldiers perceive certain things, or how spies do things. That's kind of how the concept of this series is working out. That's how I viewed this episode. For instance, how, you know, Sakuma was viewing the world. For instance, he was looking at the world as a poker game, and now he's looking at the world as a Joker game. From a spy's angle, he's looking at the truth of how the world really works. And when you see this, you know, dialogue between the characters too throughout this episode, especially with the officer, like the director that was controlling Sakuma, like his boss, and he was giving him orders, all that, like, I didn't need to tell you shit, I didn't need to tell you that, you know, I sent people over there and all that, and I failed, I didn't need to tell you any of that shit. You know, that right there, I love that witty dialogue between them, and how Sakuma actually kind of turned things around and, you know, kind of won that conversation. It goes to show you his skill level and how much he's developed since the first episode, and how he's starting to think outside the box. But on top of that, though, the old man that works amongst the spies, he's like the leader of the spies and all that, he apparently, he actually puts up a fake appearance as well. He has a white glove, and he has a cane, as we see. That's like a very distinct part of his character we see constantly since the last episode, and if I was to think back on a character, I would honestly describe him from the cane, like the cane, or the white glove, or the old man. He has these very distinct features, and when you think about this character and how we found out the truth about him, you're like, holy shit, that is the truth. I mean, usually if a person has distinct, features about them, like let's say someone had maybe fucking 7 fingers, okay? 7 fucking fingers, and they were walking down the street and shit. You most likely, if you saw that person, you would remember them by their fingers. Even if you didn't remember their name, you'd remember them by their damn fingers, how many fingers they had. So, because of this, it makes it to where you can blend in more. For instance, if you're someone else, you have a different identity, you can blend in a whole lot more if you have this fake identity that you perceive to be your normal self. And since we found out his actual left hand is the fucked up hand, for instance, it's like a prosthetic, that means that he's been lying all the time about using a cane. Pretty cool stuff. I have to say, I really like how this episode was done. So yeah, Joker Game, episode 2, way better than the first episode, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.